paganism as a whole. Now, Druidism is a Celtic belief. This is the label for Celtic mythology and such. This particular religion or group was decimated severely due to the Romans under Julius Caesar and by the Christians, because since it did not promote Christianity, the Christians tried to stomp it out. This was a form of witchcraft. It was evil. A lot of our history has been destroyed. Good old St. Patrick has been accredited into destroying like 50 books. Now you got to remember that the Druids did not believe in writing down anything. This was an oral tradition. But there was some stuff written down, and St. Patrick destroyed it. That is part of our history gone. And it achieved his goal, because if you leave no history of something, how can you say that was there? He was literally trying to write Druidism out of history. So that creates a problem. How can we say that we are of this particular belief system with so little historical information, proof? I mean, that is truly hard. And we got to decide how we are going to handle this. So, can we say that any particular pagan belief is valid? Yes, we can. We can say this because you can't say that Christianity is valid either if you say that paganism is not valid. The Bible was written over 300 years after the supposed Jesus Christ died. Now, since 300 years had passed, everything that's in the Bible is hearsay. Well, this person said, this person said, this person said this. Well, okay, it doesn't work that way. There is no contemporary evidence of Jesus and these events. And also, and this is an interesting thing, there were more than just one set of Gospels. There were many versions of various Gospels. If I remember right, the Gnostics, they had their own version. And their versions went against some of the more other accepted versions, that we should say. And so they were edited out. They were removed. If you look at the Bible itself, there are books missing when you compare one version to another. Mostly if you compare a Protestant version to a Catholic version, there are books missing. So what is the real story? They really don't know, because it's been edited, information has been lost. It's a gamble. But you see, that's what paganism faces. So you cannot say that paganism has no value unless you, of course, then say that Christianity has no value, Islam has no value, Judaism has no value. Okay? Same points. All these religions have a value. So we as pagans have to take whatever information we can and filter it. Because unfortunately, many great authors around have added their little twists and turns, which is one of the reasons why I have problems with Irish mythology, because some of these Irish Catholic monks that wrote down history probably put down their own Christian slanted views on certain stories, which is tainted it. So we got to take our information and create a path that works for us. But that's a problem. We can't always just grab something, take the points we like and put it in there and say, here we go. See, one of the problems I have with Wicca, which is another pagan branch, is that there are too many people that just want to hit the high notes and forget about the low notes. They want to concentrate on light and love, but they forget about life and reality. I mean, unfortunately, there is death, there is darkness. And in the rules of comparisons, you cannot have light without dark. So then, you have to accept information. Now, for any starting out pagan who is not determined what their path is, I would highly suggest The Complete Idiot's Guide to Paganism. It's actually a pretty good book. Don't let the name fool you. This will help you get a basic understanding of what paganism is. One of the other books I also suggest that you read is The Complete Idiot's Guide to Celtic Wisdom. I know it's a contradictory, idiot and wisdom, but a lot of Wicca has a lot of Celtic influences on there, and that will help you out. Now, certain Wiccan authors actually can give you a great deal of information. I am mostly talking about Scott Cunningham. He has 2 books out. Wicca, The Guide to the Solitary Practitioner, and Living Wicca, A Further Guide to the Solitary Practitioner. Now, if you can read these and understand the information that he's given you, it will help you in determining what your path is going to be. Now, the great thing that I like about Scott Cunningham is he is focusing on the individual. Because if you're new to this, you should not just jump into a coven at all. You need to understand the basics. You got to know the whats and whys about paganism. Then, and only then, should you try to join a coven if that's what you want to do. Okay? Sorry I'm a little bit rambling here. I'm trying to get my point across here. Okay. Now, what we have to do as pagans is we have to take all this information, filter it out. If something has a reference to Jesus, I am myself just throw it out. Our beliefs, pagan beliefs, existed before Jesus Christ. Okay? So you got to find out what works. And the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to read many sources of information. Like the 4 books I just mentioned, read them all. And then kind of go through it and find what information supports each other and what doesn't. Get rid of what doesn't support your ideals here. And I would also suggest you get a notebook, a large notebook. Take notes. Okay, this is the best way to learn. It's like studying for a test, unfortunately. You have to know what's going on. Okay? So, I lost my train of thought there for a moment. We got to figure out what makes our path strong. Okay? Now, I want you to be able to go through and study all these other different paths of paganism. Not just the Celtic. I myself follow the Celtic path exclusively. But it might not work for you. My warning for you is do not get the ideal of you can pick and choose. I have known a lot of Wiccans that have this concept of going and picking this goddess from this pantheon, that god from that pantheon, and they're picking and choosing, mixing and matching, and they're coming up with this pathway of love and light, and everything is peachy, but it lacks reality. You can't have love without hate. You cannot have light without darkness. Okay? The problem I have with grabbing different gods and goddesses from different pantheons and trying to make them work for you is that you're missing out on other aspects of that pantheon. Um, the best way to to explain this is, let's say you're making a quilt, something to keep you warm. You're not going to grab 10, 15 different types of fabric and put this together, this blanket, this quilt, to stay warm. Yeah, probably work great when you're working with the flannel, the corduroy, but burlap, it itches. The till, that's very thin. It lets air in. You know, it's not as strong as your corduroy, your denim, your cotton, and all that. And so you're having this patchwork quilt that's not very strong because it'd be strongest as its weakest piece of fabric. In this case, twill, I believe it's called. Where as your leather piece, man, it's strong, it's solid. Here's something that you can anchor a belief system on. But you got this other stuff and it doesn't work well together. Okay? I think I made sense there. Um, so please do a lot of research before you start assembling your various gods and goddesses into your pantheon, into your path. A lot of research, a lot of notes need to be taken. You have to follow what works for you, but you also have to stay balanced and be in reality. If you try to create this pathway of love and light, everything that's good and bad, of good, you shun the bad, you think no darkness for me, I want to live a happy life, you're going to crush yourself. Because what happens if you leave something out in the sun too long? It dries up, it shrivels away. It can kill something. There are plants out there that do better in the shade than they do in the sunlight. Okay? Do you understand? You have to have both. You have to have balance. Yes, you love to have that peaceful, beautiful goddess, but you also need that God that will fight the fight. You don't just need to have the mother goddess and all that. You need the warrior goddess. Okay? You need the sun, you need the moon, you need earth, water, fire, air, wind. We talk about opposites being in balance. And that's what you must achieve with paganism, is this healthy balance so that everything fits together. Okay? I think I've rambled on enough about this topic. I probably confused a couple people, but please think of what I've said and enjoy yourself. This is about learning and expanding your horizons, and hopefully I let you do that. Okay, bye.